And let's close down our eyes and welcome to your first Zoom yoga class. Yay! And just take a little bit of time. It's 12:30, so a lot of you are working from home, so just take some time to let that dissipate. A little bit different to working in the office, but just with eyes closed down, let yourself just let go of your morning. And at least for the next 60 minutes, you are in a space to practice yoga. So let go of anything you may have on after the class. Whether you're going back to do some work, just let all of that go and bring your awareness to within the four corners of the mat that you are on. And see if you can connect a little to your breath. And what we're looking for here is just really an observation of how you're breathing in this moment. And noticing whether you're lifting a little up through the chest. And if that's the case, concentrate for the next few breaths on, rather than a lifting up, of a drawing the breath in and an expansion. So feeling this expansion through the front, the back, and the sides of the body. And then notice as you exhale, you get to draw everything back to its usual position, and we get to feel a sense of softness. And we want to create that soft feeling and start to introduce it throughout the whole of the body. So let's soften through your jaw, soften through the shoulders, through the chest, down into the belly, into the hips, glutes. And as you're doing that, notice if there's any areas that are sparking with a little bit of tension or some tightness or gripping. And perhaps you spend a little bit of extra time there using the breath to expand on the breath in. So you're allowing a little bit of space to enter that area of tension and tightness. And then visualize softness on the breath out. So feel that area soften down just a little bit. It may take a few breaths to really feel that softness and really engage with it. But just take as many breaths as you need. And notice which areas are presenting with some tension and tightness for you. It could be the shoulders or the neck, or it could be more around the hip area, or it could be through the glutes. It might be your belly. Just notice. It's not anything to stress about, but it's just nice to observe where we're feeling these tension and where we're feeling these tight spots. And in the background, you'll hear the odd train playing, maybe, automobile. That's all part of the lovely music that we have of the outside world. So I want you just to notice if there's any areas in your body where there might be need to wrap some extra awareness around. So by that, I mean, if you have an injury or there's something that's come up for you during that physical inquiry that needs a little bit of attention from you, just wrap some extra awareness around anything that does arise. So know that nothing that we do in class is compulsory. It's all completely voluntary. So if something doesn't feel quite right to you and your body's going, oh, I really don't want to push it any further, then just don't. You know, you can always come back and sit into your child's box and stay there as long as you need to, and please visit as often as you feel. But on the flip side of the coin, your body may be going, I want to go a little further into that pose. And if that's the case, then stay a little longer, breathe a little deeper, and invite the body just to press on a little bit more. So just seeing at each time how your body's feeling, where you're at. So let's come back to our breath, and we're going to practice what's called a yogic breath or deep belly breath or diaphragmatic breath. So what that means is, as you take your next inhale, I'd like you to draw the breath all the way down through the back of the throat, through the lungs, allowing it to land in your belly. And start to feel that expansion from that point through the front, the back, the side. And then let that breath continue to rise all the way up into your chest. So at the peak of the inhale, your collarbones lift a little. Your rib cage expands to the edges of the skin. And then as you exhale, let breath leave the top of the lungs, the bottom of the lungs, let that diaphragm muscle shift up. And as that breath leaves the belly, feel that navel draw softly in towards your spine. So this is what we call this diaphragmatic yogic deep belly breath. And we're aiming to send that breath as deep as we can into the torso. Hopefully the belly, but if it doesn't quite make it on the first breath, just aim to go a little deeper. Try not to force it. Nice here if you keep your eyes closed down and just visualize that breath going through the nostrils, down the back of the throat and through the lungs and into the belly. And feeling that expansion from that point and letting that rise all the way up into the chest. And feeling the collarbones lift just a little and the ribcage expand to the edges of the skin. And then that nice slow release and that softness that starts to enter as we exhale. Slowly breath leaves top of the lungs, bottom of the lungs, diaphragm muscle shifts up. And as that breath lastly leaves the belly, that nice gentle drawing in of the navel in towards the spine. So just take one more of those breaths. And then as you take your next inhalation, can we peel the eyes open, bring the hands towards the ceiling to meet in prayer, and exhale, guide the hands down to the heart. And let's do that 2 more times. Inhale, lift the arms. Exhale, hands to the heart. And one more time, inhale. And this time, take the exhale, take the hands all the way down to your navel or solar plexus. Fingers interlace here, draw the hands towards the chin with the elbows nice and high. And on the exhale, can we extend the arms all the way out in front? And then take the breath in to lift the arms towards the ceiling. And on the breath out, release the hands behind. So interlace the fingers here. With your next inhale, draw the hands towards the floor, lift a little up and away from the buttocks. So let those shoulders come back, broaden through the collarbone, send that gaze to the ceiling with that inhale. And then as you exhale, bring the hands back to the heart. Inhale, lift the arms, let your fingers touch here. And on the exhale, let the right hand come down, left arm can reach for the right. So we're going to inhale, lift nice and tall, fingers touch. And exhale over to your left. And let's go back to the right. Inhale, fingers touch. Exhale over to the right. And hold here. Soften through that elbow, let that shoulder drop down away from the ear. And just let yourself take 1, 2, maybe 3 breaths where you're lifting a little on the inhale and going out. Let's go again. And then inhale, bring the hands back to meet in prayer. And can we exhale, guide the hands down to the heart space. Keep the hands in prayer. Inhale, send them back towards the ceiling. And exhale, let's find those practice arms. Inhale, bring the hands back to meet in prayer. Exhale, guide the hands to the heart. Lift the arms towards the ceiling with your next inhale, fingers touch. And on the exhale, let that left hand come down. Right arm can reach to the left. Let's come back to center with the breath in. Fingers reach nice and tall. And exhale over to the right. So we'll land over onto the left. Inhale, nice and tall. Exhale over to the left and hold here. Dropping that shoulder down away from the ear as you soften through that elbow. And just take a couple of breaths here, seeing if you can reach a little further with that right hand Open up a little more through the right side of the body. And then let's inhale, bring the hands back to meet in prayer. Exhale, guide the hands all the way down to the navel. Fingers interlaced here. Take a breath in, draw the hands towards the face, lift nice and high, and exhale, round through your spine, chin to chest, navel to spine. Inhale, lift the arm. Exhale, bring those hands behind, interlace the fingers. Draw the hands towards the floor with that inhale, lift up and away from the buttocks. Let the shoulders come back, feel the collarbones broaden, draw the shoulder blade in towards the spine. And then maybe send the gaze to the ceiling with an inhale. And then on the exhale, we can bring those hands back to the heart. Keep the hands in prayer. Inhale, lift them towards the ceiling. And exhale, let's find those cactus arms. Inhale, bring the hands back towards the ceiling. And exhale down to your heart space. Hold here and just take a breath. We're going to transition on to our hands and knees. So I'm going to move around I've got 2 mats today, so I'll move around a little bit on the mat so you can see what I'm doing as well as movement. So think about how you might like to move and transition to hands and knees. Any way you do that is fine. I like to inhale, lift the arms towards the ceiling, and exhale, bring the hands out in front and then shift the weight forward. And we want to bring our knees underneath our hips and our hands underneath our shoulders. I'm right in the sun there, so I might turn the other way, which might be a little bit different. Okay, so now we're in tabletop, and from here we'll take a few rounds of cat and cow breath to make sure our back is nice and warm. So we've moved our back side to side in that nice lateral movement. Now we want to move it a little up and down to make sure the spine gets a nice well-rounded warm-up. So let's inhale. Let your belly drop. Bring the chest forward. Gaze forward or eye gaze towards your ceiling. And then exhale, round through your spine. Chin to chest, navel to spine. And we'll go again. Inhale. The belly drops. The chest comes forward. Exhale to curl. One more time. Inhale. And exhale. So find your nice neutral spine. And with your next inhalation, can we take that right arm up towards the ceiling? Now as we exhale, just let it float underneath the left and turn your head to the left. And then inhale, draw the arm back up. Exhale, let it float under. So one more time, inhale, let that arm come up towards the ceiling. And on the exhale, let's slide that arm underneath the left. Bring the right side of your face down onto the mat here. And can we draw this left hand all the way to the front of the mat and over to the right corner? So we're looking underneath that left arm. One more breath. And then let's bring that arm back underneath the shoulder. Use your next inhale to slide the right hand out in front. And then walk your hands all the way to the front of the mat here. And take a breath in. And on the breath out, sink your chin and chest down towards the mat. Now I'll go side on. Once again, this is our puppy pose. So we inhale, exhale, chin and chest towards the floor. But notice how the butt is kept nice and high. Yeah, I just did a little butt wiggle. So this pose is our chest opening pose, heart melting pose. A really lovely way to physically open into your chest and energetically into the heart. So take another breath, lifting a little on the inhale, and maybe you go a little deeper on the exhale. And then using your next inhale to lift the torso off the mat. And on the exhale, walk your hands back underneath your shoulders. And we'll take that thread the needle pose to the left side. So as you take your next inhale, left arm lifts towards the ceiling. And we exhale, float that underneath the right. And then we go again. Inhale, lift. Exhale to curl. One more time, inhale. Now this time on the exhale, slide that arm underneath the right. Bring the left side of your face down onto the mat. Let your right hand walk to the top of the mat and over to that left corner. One more breath. And then let's slide that right hand back underneath the shoulder. As you inhale, press the floor away. Now this time on the exhale, bring your hands just a hand's length out in front from your shoulders. We're going to take a little flow to warm up through the wrists, the forearms, and the triceps. So we'll come forward with a breath in, low plank here. Halfway lower with your breath out. Press the floor away with your inhale. Tucking toes, we exhale back to an active child's pose. Active because we're not staying there. We'll inhale, come forward again. Low plank, knees still stay on the floor. Exhale, halfway lower. Inhale, press the floor away. And exhale back, finding that active child's pose. So let's go again. Inhale to come forward. This time on the exhale, we lower all the way down onto the mat. So bring your hands just a fraction wider than your shoulders. We'll roll 3 cobras here. Inhale, peel your chest off the mat. And as you exhale, lower back down. Let's go again. Inhale, peeling the chest off the mat. Exhale to lower. And we'll take one more. Inhale, peel that chest off the mat. Exhale, lower down. And then with your next inhalation, lift halfway, to a low plank. And then exhale back and find that active child's pose. So your toes are tucked, but your buttock is sitting down onto your heels and your arms are out in front. Now walk your hands as far as they can towards the front of the mat. And then press into the pads of your fingers. Lift the palm of your hand off the mat. And we just take a more active approach to this child's pose. So we're getting a nice stretch down underneath the arms and maybe down into the sides of the shoulders. One more breath. And then bring the palms of the hands back onto the mat. And as you take your next breath in, come back through your tabletop, tucking toes, and on the breath out, lift the knees off the mat and start to send the buttocks back towards our downward facing dog. Now I want you to just pedal your feet here, lifting onto your toes and letting one heel at a time come down onto the mat. So just getting a little warm through our hamstring, through the backs of the legs. And then see if you can just take one breath, lift onto your toes, and on the breath out, can you let both of the heels reach towards the floor? And then lift onto your toes with an inhale and slide the heels over to your right, and the knees press the floor away. And slide the heels over to the left, bend the knees and press the floor away. And then come back through center. Check your feet to hip distance, your hands are shoulder width. A little bit of bend in the knees is fine, but we do want to feel like our heels are reaching or melting down towards the mat. The palms of the hands face forward, the 2-piece fingers face forward. If your wrists are a little tender, pressing into the index finger and thumb knuckle can take some stress out of the wrist. So let's take one more breath here. And then look between your hands, and you can walk or step. So you can take little steps, you can take one step, or you can jump as you inhale. And then exhale, let your chest press down onto your thigh. Can you bend your knees here and take hold of opposite elbows, yeah? Into what we call a ragdoll.
So with bent knees, chest resting on your thighs, let your body just gently swing or sway from side to side. Relax your shoulders here and let your head hang and shake it. Yes. No. Maybe. And then can we bring our hands down onto the mat? And as you take your next breath in, take a nice slow spinal roll. Feel bone stack on bone. And let your head and neck be the last thing that rises here. So when you're fully standing, if it's okay for you, just close down your eyes. Bring the hands to the sides of the body. Palms face the front of the room. Feel the soles of your feet reaching down to the earth below whatever floor or whatever landing you're on. And see if you can evenly distribute the weight between not just both of your feet, but think of each foot as having four corners, big toe, pinky toe, inner heel, outer heel. Can you distribute the weight amongst those four corners? And then let your awareness travel up the body, and as it reaches the knees, a little softness to the knees, but gently draw your kneecaps up towards the pubic bone. And then let that pubic bone gently draw up towards your navel, so the tailbone dips towards the floor. It's just a slight pelvic tilt, not a big one. And then as your awareness reaches the shoulders, give the shoulders a roll up, back, and feel as if your shoulder blades are drawing in towards the spine and the crown of the head is reaching forward towards the ceiling. And now we're into Tadasana, mountain pose. Take a breath here. And from here, we'll start to flow a little. So inhale, arms reach towards the ceiling. Let them meet in prayer, and exhale. Bend your knees as much as you need to. Take a forward fold. Go nice and slow. Using now just a little bit of movement through the backs of the legs here. So you can just gently shift the weight from one leg to another. So from side on, it just looks like we're bending through one leg, straightening into the other. And all I'm really looking for here is a little bit of warmth, opening up energy into the backs of the hamstrings, maybe the backs of the knees and the backs of your calves. So now we can come to stillness, and as you inhale, slide your hands halfway up your shins, and exhale. Can we come to a nice flat back here? So we're just looking for a flat back. The hands are halfway up the shins. We're in what's called Ardha Uttanasana, halfway lift. Take an inhale. And on that exhale, let's let the hands slide all the way down onto the mat. So we're going to take now our right leg and step it all the way to the back of the mat to take a nice big long runner's lunge and drop through the back knee. And inhale, lift the arm. And exhale, bring the hands behind, interlace those fingers. Take a breath in, draw the hands towards the floor, lift up and away from the buttocks. Let the shoulders come back and maybe send that gaze to the ceiling with the breath in. And then on the breath out, let's bring our hands to frame that flat foot. And we can slide the hips back here. Take a little bit of movement. Inhale to come forward. Exhale to slide. So we're working with a nice opening for the hands. Let's do that one more time. Inhale to come forward. Exhale to slide back. Now here, I'd like you to walk your hands all the way to the back of the mat. The toes draw back towards the shin. We can lift the chest. See how my back's nice and straight on the inhale. And then feel like you're bringing the chest a little forward and then lower the chest down over that front thigh on the exhale. So we want to keep the chest lifted on the breath in. Keep it lifted on the breath out. Bring it forward a little and then lower it. So feel here as if this heel is drawing back towards you. It's not moving, it's an energetic move, like you're trying to draw it back, so we deepen the stretch through the back of the leg. Now we're going to come forward and send that weight back into that left foot. I'm just going to turn front on here so you can see what I'm doing. What I'd like you to do then is heel toe this left foot a little bit wider, perhaps to the edge of your mat. And bring your hands to the inside. So we're just taking a little baby lizard pose to start to open up through this inner thigh. So to work a little deeper into this pose, you could walk your hands out a little further in front. hoping you can still see me here. And the other option is to come over onto the outer blade of that left foot and start to draw that knee a little out to the side. So we open up a little in the thigh, but also to the outside of that glute. So see how that feels. That's not for everybody. For some people, that really doesn't feel good. Let's now slowly bring the sole of that foot back onto the mat. Now, while we're here, we can take a little twist. So keep the right hand on the mat and inhale, take your left arm up towards the ceiling. And feel as if you're drawing this left knee in towards the middle of the mat. Pressing through that right palm, can you open up a little more through that left shoulder? One more breath. And then let's bring that left hand back down. Now we want to heel through that left foot back between our hands here. Tuck the toes of that right leg, lift that right knee, and slide that left leg to the back of the mat. Now you can come to a high or low plank. I'll go this way. So you can be in high plank this time, or knees down in low plank. Totally up to you. Feeling into wherever your body wants to be today. Take your breath in. And then on the breath out, we'll lower slowly to the floor. Hands to fraction one, then your shoulders. Let's inhale, find that cobra. Hug the elbows in. Don't let the shoulders come up around the ears. Drop them down. Can you squeeze your hips together just a little more? Take one more breath in. And then on the breath out, lower back onto your mat. Hands on the shoulders, lift through your plank, high or low to your chin. Exhale back. Find the downward facing dog. Between your hands, and you can walk lots and lots of little steps or a jump with an inhale and exhale, chest onto the front. And then take a nice slow spinal roll with your next inhalation. Feel bone step on bone. Hands meet. Tall mountain pose. Exhale, bring the hands to the heart. Take a breath. Inhale, lift the arms. Exhale, forward fold back down onto your mat. Use your next inhale to find that flat back, yeah? Hands halfway up the shin. On the exhale, flatten through the back. We're just taking these first two nice and slow. Ardha Uttanasana, halfway lift. Take another breath in. And then on the breath out, let the hands come all the way to the floor and step now your left leg to the back of the mat. Nice big long runner's lunge. And can we drop through the back knee? Inhale, lift the arms. And exhale, bring those hands behind. Fingers interlace. Draw the hands towards the floor. Lift up and away from the buttocks. Really open up through those shoulders. Feel the collarbone broaden. Maybe send that gaze to the ceiling with the breath in. Feel here as if your left knee is drawing forward and your right heel back. So they're drawing in towards each other. Feeling that nice stretch through the inner thigh. One more breath in. And then on the breath out, release the hands to frame the front. Now we're just going to slide the weight back, straighten into that right leg, working with the hamstring. Inhale to come forward. Exhale, slide back. And can we go again? Inhale to come forward. Exhale back. Holding here and walking your hands now towards the back of the mat. Here's where we inhale, lift a little through the chest. And on the exhale, we want to bring the chest forward and start to lower that chest down towards the front thigh. So feel like you're drawing this left heel back towards you, and we're looking for a nice stretch down the back of the leg, mostly through that hamstring. Take another breath. Toes draw back towards the shin. And then we're going to shift that weight back into that right foot. Yeah, bring the hands to the inside. Heel toe that foot to the edge of the mat and just sink down into a little baby lizard pose. So we're opening up a little through that inner thigh. And if you want to, you could come onto the outer blade of that right foot and start to draw that knee out to the side. So we're going to take lizard pose later. And for those of you that jumped on early, I had my block, but I suggested that you grab maybe a book
a thick book that you could use if you needed assistance for lizard pose. So just feel free to grab that whenever you need to. Let's draw that foot, or the sole of the foot, back onto the mat. And we can keep the left hand on the mat and inhale, take the right arm up towards the ceiling. Pressing firmly through that left palm. If you press a little more firmly, you get to open up a little more through that torso. And here's where we get to twist the spine. So the spine gets to move in all sorts of directions and it's nice and happy. And we're keeping it nice and healthy. One more breath. And then let's bring that hand back down to frame the front foot and heel toe the foot back into the middle. And we'll tuck the toes on that left leg. Slide the right leg to the back of the mat. Find your plank, high or low. Take a breath in and lower all the way down onto your mat. And this time, we'll take our hands to the sides of the foot. Palms face the ceiling. Engage your core, and as you inhale, lift your thighs, your torso, your arms off the mat. Feel as if your fingers and toes are drawing to the wall behind, the crown of the head to the wall in front. Draw your shoulder blades in towards the spine, squeeze the glutes together, lift a little higher off the mat if you can. Take one more breath in, and then on the breath out, lower back to the mat. Hands under shoulders, tuck your toes, lifting through your plank, high or low with an inhale. Exhale back, find your downward facing dog. Look between your hands and walk, step. Jump your feet to the front of the mat with an inhale. Exhale, chest onto thighs. Nice slow spinal roll as you inhale. Feel bone. Stack on bone and bring your hands towards the ceiling for tall mountain pose. And exhale, bring your hands back to the heart. So we'll take another flow now. Knee up for this one. Inhale, lift the arms. Let's swan dive. Exhale, leave at the chest, arms out wide, bend the knees as much as you need. Inhale, find your flat back, your halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Right leg steps to the back of the mat. Nice big long runners lunge. Use your next inhale to lift the arms towards the ceiling. And can we exhale and sink down? Little pulsations here. Inhale, straighten through the front leg. Exhale, let's find cactus arms. And do that again. Inhale. And exhale. And we go one more time. Inhale. Exhale and sink down. Now, go nice and wide with the arm. Bring awareness to the right foot. Press a little through the ball of the foot. Lift the heel, slide it back, engage the hamstring. If you're able, open up a little more through the chest and maybe you send that gaze to the ceiling. So exposing and opening to that chest and opening into the heart. One more breath in. And then on the breath out, let's release the hands to frame the front foot. Now keep the right hand on the mat. Inhale, take your left arm up towards the ceiling. So we get to revolve this lunge, a nice revolved high lunge, and work with the spine once again. Take a breath in. On the breath out, release that left hand. And can we slide the left foot to the back of the mat? Find your plank, high or low. Take a breath in. On the breath out, lower all the way to the floor. So let's bring those hands and interlace them over the buttocks this time. Press the palms together, thumbs draw towards the floor. So this is just a variation of Shalabhasana. As you inhale, thighs, torso floats off the mat. Shoulder blades draw in towards the spine, but we feel like our thumbs and toes are drawing to the wall behind, crown of the head to the wall in front. Take a nice deep breath in. And then on the breath out, lower all the way to the floor. Hands under shoulders, tuck your toes, lift through your plank, high or low with an inhale. Exhale back, find your down dog. Look between your hands, walk, step, jump your feet to the front of the mat with an inhale. Exhale, chest onto the thighs. Let's bend the legs, reverse the swan dive, arms out wide, flatten the back. Inhale, lift the arms towards the ceiling. Exhale, hands to the heart. Take a breath. Inhale, lift the arms. Exhale, swan dive back down onto your mat. Use your next breath in to find your halfway lift, your Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale to your forward fold. Left leg steps to the back of the mat.
Nice big long runners lunge. Inhale, lift the arm. Let's exhale, sink into Anjali Asana. Inhale, straighten through the front leg. Exhale, sink again. And again. Inhale. Exhale, this time we hold. Bring awareness to the ball of the left foot. Press a little into the ball. Lift the heel, slide it back. Open up a little wider through the arms. Squeezing inner thighs together. Maybe you send that gaze to the ceiling with the breath in. And then release the hands to frame the front foot on the breath out. Left hand stays on the mat. Inhale, take the right arm up towards the ceiling. Revolving the lunge. Giving that spine a nice little twist. Take a breath in. On the breath out, release that hand. Let's slide that right leg to the back of the mat. So we find that nice big long runner's lunge. Take a breath in. Not long runner's lunge. Your plank high or low. Take a breath in. And on the breath out, lower onto your mat. So let's bring our hands a little wider this time. In fact, take them all the way off the mat. Walk them forward. Press into the pads of the fingers, lift the palm, and inhale, lift and find your striking cobra. If your shoulders are up around the ears, drop them down, hug the elbows in, squeeze the glutes together. Take one more breath in, and then on that breath out, lower back down onto the mat. Hands under shoulders, tuck your toes, lifting through your plank, high or low with an inhale. Exhale back, find your downward facing dog. Look between your hands, and with your next inhalation, walk, step. Jump your feet to the front of the mat with your inhale. Exhale, chest onto thighs, and take that nice, slow, final roll, finding that tall mountain pose, hands meet in prayer. Exhale, hands to the heart. Now we're going to find a tree pose, a little bit of balance. So can we bring the weight into our left foot? I'll come back a little so you can see. I like to start everyone off with a low tree, just so we can get a little bit of openness through the inner thigh and into that hip. Now from here we're going to come back and take a lizard pose. But let's find our tree first. So can you bring your hands into prayer? And as you inhale, send the hands towards the ceiling. And as you exhale, find your cactus arms. And then inhale, bring the hands back to meeting prayer. And exhale, guide the hands back to your heart. Now you get to find your tree. You can stay here, or you can bring the sole of the foot into the calf muscle to keep it below the knee joint. Or you could take the sole of the foot into the upper inner thigh. It's either going to be below the knee or above the knee, but not on the knee joint, because we never want to put any pressure onto that knee joint. So choose what best suits you for your tree. And then when you're ready, there's a fly. You can bring your hands to your hips. Don't do what my hands are doing, they're waving the fly away. Or you could bring your hands into prayer. Or you could give your tree some branches. And you could make a mudra. You could, intuitively, a thumb and any finger can join together. Whatever feels good for you here. See if you can relax your shoulders, but you want to squeeze through this left glute to give you stabilization. And keep that right knee out to the side. Take one more breath, and then we'll make our way back to a lunge. So as you inhale, lift your hands towards the ceiling, or if they were towards the ceiling, bring them to shoulder width, yeah? And draw that right knee to the front. We're gonna lift and find stork pose. So lifting the knee nice and high and lifting the fingers nice and tall. And then take a breath in. And on the breath out, now let your hands come back as you send that right leg back and find a warrior three here. And then take a breath in. And on the breath out, can you let that right leg land on the mat behind you? My mat's really slippery, so I need to be careful.
And so now we're in a long lunge, yeah? And we're going to inhale, lift the arms, and exhale, bring the hands down to frame the front foot. Now I'm going to suggest you slide that right leg back a little. You're going to drop the knee. And now we bring our hands to the inside of that foot. Now, if you have a block at home, or as I suggested, a book, you could grab that. We could use it as a makeshift prop to come to lizard pose. Now the block has, or the book has, 3 different levels. Level 1 is high, level 2 medium, level 3 low. So the idea here is that we use the block or the book or whatever we've got, and I'll come side on so you can see for our lizard pose, to see if we can just hold this pose a little bit longer. So I've got the block to the inside of that foot, and I'm on that highest level now. But I might see what it feels like to go into the mid. And maybe try the low. We're going to hold that lizard pose for 1, 2, 3 breaths. And see how we go. 3 breaths. Adjusting the filming, seeing if you can see me a little better from the front. That's a bit better. Probably top my head off when I stand up, but that's okay. All right. I think that's 3 breaths. You know I'm not so good with maths. Well, I am. I like. All right, so let's use our next breath to lift up off that block or the book or whatever you were able to use as a makeshift prop, if you were able to, and just pop it to the side. Now, for those of you that want it, we could draw that right heel in and take the left hand around and take hold of the foot and just give it a little drawing in towards the buttock. And then let's release that foot. And tuck the toes on that right leg. Lift the knee. Slide your left leg to the back of the mat. Find your plank, high or low. Take a breath in here. Now on the breath out, we're going to lower to the floor. Take your left arm out to the side. Bend your right leg, roll over onto your left side. So you're taking that right leg to the floor behind you. So we're opening up again into this hip. The same one that we did for our tree pose. You can bring your right hand to your hip or the small of your back. Or maybe you reach down and take hold of the top of your foot and kick that foot into the hand and open up a little more. If you did take hold of that foot, release that foot now. Bring it back down onto the floor. Bring your right hand back onto the mat. Roll that right hip back down. Slide your left hand back in and inhale, lift and find a cobra, because we can. Relax the shoulders, hug the elbows in. Take one more breath in. And then on the breath out, lower back onto your mat. Tuck your toes and lift through your plank. High or low with an inhale. Exhale back to find your downward facing dog. And can we walk or step or jump our feet to the front of the mat with that inhale? And exhale, chest onto the thighs, and slow spinal roll here. Feel bone stack on bone. And hands can reach to find that tall mountain pose. And exhale, bring your hands to your hearts. Beautiful. So now we find our tree on the other side. So that means weight now is in your right foot. Toes of the left foot on the mat. Heel into that calf. So we open up a little into this left hip. Bringing hands into prayer. Inhale, guide the hands towards the ceiling. And exhale, let's find those cactus up. And can we inhale, bring the hands back to meet in prayer. And exhale, guide the hands to the heart. And then from here, we can find our tree. Either we stay here or we slide the foot into the calf muscle. Or we slide or draw the foot into that upper inner thigh. So we want the foot either below the knee or above the knee, but just not on the knee. And then your hands can either come to the hips for a little bit of stabilization, or maybe you bring them to prayer, or maybe you give your tree some branches. And if you're in the branches, you could perhaps join a thumb and finger together and find a mudra, one that best suits you. Keeping that knee out to the side. Relax your shoulders, but squeezing through that right glute. It's going to move a little forward so we can take, there's a little note there. Performance reduced. Okay. All right. So let's all now find that stork pose. Bring the hands towards the ceiling to meet in prayer. Or not in prayer, shoulder width, I should say. Draw that knee back to the front. And as you inhale, lift and find your stork pose. So knees lifted nice and high, fingers reaching nice and full. Take your breath in. And then on the breath out, we're going to come back through our warrior three. Send the hands behind with you. And then take an inhale. And on the exhale, let that foot land and hope that my foot doesn't slide and I accidentally do the split. Something I've been trying to do for years, but now's not a good time. Now's not a good time. Inhale, lift the arms. And can we exhale, bring the hands down to frame the front foot. Now we're going to slide that left leg back a little and drop the knee. Heel to the right foot to create some space. And grab our block if we've got one or the book. And have a little play with lizards. So either we are on the highest level or we'll drop it down, mid, or maybe we come all the way to the bottom. And you're going to hold that for 3 breaths. I think my computer's telling me that it's hot. It kind of makes sense because it's sitting in the sun. So we'll see how we go. And when we come to Shavasana, I will drop it down a little, if that's okay with you guys. Saying performance is reduced, so I hope everything's okay with you. All right, I think that's 3 blocks. Let's use our breath. Let's use our next breath to lift up off the block. Slide it out to the side. Tap the toes on that left leg. Lift the left knee. And we'll slide that right leg to the back. Find your plank, high or low. Take a breath in. And on the breath out, we lower all the way to the floor. And this time we take our right arm out to the side. Bend the left leg, roll over onto that right side. Let the left foot touch down behind them. And maybe you take your hand to the hip. Maybe you take it to the small of your back, or you could reach up and take hold of the top of that foot. Now, while you're holding that, I'll see if I can bring my computer out of the sun. It's a little hot. And we'll come down a little bit lower. And the rest we can do on the floor. Here I am with you. Look at that. Close up of me. How amazing. Okay, so let's now release that foot back down and bring your hand, your left hand back on the mat and close that left hip back down. And slide your right hand in, and can we inhale, lift and find a cobra because we can. And exhale to lower. Nice, so from here, hands are back under shoulders. We're gonna lift to find a nice low plank. On the breath in. And exhale back to find a child's pose. Let your forehead rest on the mat just for a moment. And then let yourself shift forward. With your inhale, draw one knee at a time behind your wrists. Cross your ankles and sit back on your mat. Extend your legs out in front. Give the legs a little bit of a shake here. Maybe you shuffle yourself a little forward. And before we come down onto our backs, let's take a twist. So can we draw the left knee in, give it a nice hug and cross that leg over. And then right arm hugs that left knee in and left hand comes behind. So inhale, lift and lengthen here. And on the exhale, let your left shoulder draw back. Let it draw the rib cage and chest. Head and neck, just a fraction of a second behind the torso. And the toes of your right foot are drawing back towards your shin. This is called Ardha Marityasana. One more breath. And then let's use our next breath in to guide the head and neck back to center. Rest of the body can follow. And just uncross that leg and slide it out and then draw the right knee in. Cross that leg over. Hug that knee. Take the right hand behind. Toes of the left foot draw back towards behind. Inhale to lift and lengthen here. And on the exhale, the shoulder, rib cage, chest draws back. And the head and neck is just a fraction of a second behind. So each breath in is that lift and lengthen. And each breath out, we work a little deeper into this twist. Let's use our next inhale to guide your head and neck back to center. Rest of the body can follow. And we can extend those legs out in front. Maybe you bend the knees just a little here. I'll come side on. We're going to lie onto our back. So inhale, lift the arms, and on the exhale, roll that back all the way down onto the mat and roll your knees into the chest and give them a nice gentle squeeze and maybe a little rock from side to side. And you can take hands onto the knees and just gently circle those knees. Maybe a few times in one direction and then pause and change. And this is a nice way to massage through the glutes and into your lower back. And then let's pause and hug those knees in. Let your feet touch down. Bring your arms out to make a T pattern. Lift your hips and slide them a few centimeters over to your right. Draw the knees into the chest and then let those knees gently fall to the left. So take your left hand on top of that right thigh. And your gaze can either remain towards the ceiling or perhaps you turn it to the right. Slide that left hand off now and roll back onto your back. And as your feet touch down, lift your hips, slide them a few centimeters to your left. Draw the knees into the chest and now let the knees gently fall to the right. And take the right hand over onto that top thigh and let your head gently turn to the left. So we just take some time in this nice spinal twist to massage all those spongy discs that sit between each and every one of the vertebrae. Let's slide that hand off, roll back onto your back, and as your feet touch down, lift your hips, slide them back into the center of the mat, and draw your knees into the chest, wrap your arms around your shins, lift your head and shoulders off the floor so you curl in as small as you can to this little seed pod, this little cosmic egg. Take a nice deep breath in, and then on the breath out, lower your head and shoulders. Let your feet touch down below the buttocks and let one foot at a time extend to the bottom of the mat. Open feet out to the side, arms to the sides of the body, flip the palms. Fingers gently curl into your palms and close down your eyes and just let yourself settle into your final pose, your Shavasana. So knowing now that all of the work has now been done, there's nothing left for you to do. It's time now to just be on your mat, so no more doing. Eyes are closed down and let yourself just sink into the space that you are in. Perhaps you feel a certain heaviness enter into the back of your body. And just let everything start to soften. So maybe you soften through your feet and your toes, your ankles, your shins, your calves, the knees, back of the knees, the thighs, back of the thighs, to the hips, pelvis, your glutes, the lower back, the belly, stomach, the chest, through the middle back, the upper back, and the shoulder blades. Soften the shoulders and upper arms and elbows, forearms, and wrists, hands and fingers. Allow the whole face to soften. Relax the jaw. Relax the forehead. And just let go. Allow yourself to surrender into this space. Dropping down, dropping down, dropping down. Perhaps you start to feel as if your skin is just like a soft layer of silk that's been draped over your body. You can start now to let your breath begin to slowly and bring your awareness back to your space on the mat, your position in your room. And let that awareness just slowly expand beyond the four corners of the mat that you are on, to the four corners of the space that you are in. And then slowly beyond that, you start to notice the sounds of the outside world. Ebbing, flowing, maybe dropping in and dropping out. And then let the sound of the bells guide you back to your position once again on the mat inside your space. And start just to invite some little flickers of movement and energy into your fingers and your toes. And perhaps you rotate through your wrists and your ankles, or gently let your head move from side to side. Roll the shoulders a little here, inviting energy throughout the whole of your body. You might extend your arms overhead so your fingers reach to the wall behind, but your toes to the wall in front. And take a nice deep breath in, letting your body become as long as it possibly can. And when you're ready, bend your knees and make your way over to your favorite side. Resting your head in your upper arm and forearm. With eyes closed down, just take a little bit of time here to regroup, to regather, to bring everything that you've received from your practice back with you and fully integrate through the physical body, the emotional, the mental, the energetic, the spiritual, whatever resonates with you. There's no right or wrong. And then when you feel ready, start to slowly make your way back up to a comfortable seated position. And with eyes closed down, bring your hands into prayer so thumbs rest gently in on your sternum. Just take some time to soften back into the body. Relax the shoulders, but reach the crown of the head nice and tall and straighten a little through the back. Just notice how you feel now at the end of the class. It's going to leave you with a little metta prayer, loving kindness prayer. May you be well. May you be safe. May you be content. May you live with ease and grace. May all beings be well. May all beings be safe. May all beings be content. May all beings live with ease and grace. Thank you so much for joining me for our Zoom Wednesday lunchtime Zoom yoga, Zoom day. Now this is not compulsory, but if you would like to, and I'm going to chant one Om and 3 Shanti. If you don't have to, I won't know. You're all muted. But I'd like to close the class with the chanting of one Om and 3 Shanti. So I'm going to take a nice deep breath in. And take another inhale. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Thank you, everybody. Enjoy the rest of your day. Namaste. I'm going to come crawling over to the camera like a cat, slinking over. Someone's left me a little comment. Wow, that's close. Whoa. Thanks, guys. Okay, Nadia had to run. Kale, that was awesome and exactly what I needed. You're a gem. You're welcome, everybody. Thank you. Hope to see you. All good? Here, let me see if I can unmute you guys.
You were unmuted.
Unmute yourself.
Yeah.
All good?
Yes. All good. See you, Chrissy.
See ya. Have a good afternoon.
Yeah.
You see me and hear me and everything?
Yep. Yeah.
Okay. Wait. All right. Let's have the recording worked.
Yes. Okay.
Bye. See ya.
Bye.
Yes.